Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Oscar nominations are out. Kristen Stewart was nominated for Spencer. Critics call it her best performance since she told Robert Pattinson he was her only one. Spirit and Frontier are merging airlines. It's the only way they can survive since all of their passengers keep winding up on the no-fly list. Today is National Pizza Day. I refuse to celebrate this holiday. It's too cheesy.
Prospector ruins everything, even the news. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Sports, but I do enjoy the Olympics. Though I'm not sure what curling is doing in the Olympics. Wasn't he one of the Three Stooges? Bobsledding looks fun, but my name isn't Bob. That seems kind of ridiculous, right? They should have Tara sledding or everybody sledding. And I love the ice skating. My favorite part might be the opening ceremonies. So much pomp and circumstance. Why not have them come in on floats like a parade? Each country picks their favorite cartoon character, and the athletes come in on that. Imagine the Japanese team coming in on some weird anime thing that's somehow cute and yet very creepy at the same time. The U.S. would come in on Bugs Bunny, but Disney would probably buy it off, so they'd have to ride in on Mickey Mouse. Go Team USA!
And that was another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
And now it's time for another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Can't believe how much ice skating's in the Olympics. She's got to watch it all, too. The short program, the long program, ice dancing, figure skating. Ice skating hasn't been interesting since Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. Hey, I wonder if I still have that Tanya Harding sex tape. Let me go look.
And that was another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
This is 24-second shot clock sports. When the buzzer sounds, Mike goes dead. Start the clock.
Umpire Joe West retired from Major League Baseball after more than 5,000 games. Asked what he's most proud of, he says, staying awake for more than 5,000 baseball games. Tom Brady says you can never rule out an NFL comeback, as did anyone who ever lined up against the Detroit Lion defense. A French skier smacked his groin hard on a slalom gate. The impact was so forceful you could hear the cries of his future children who will no longer be born.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
A guy in California named Randy Waits was watching a weather report in December, and he saw a random guy named Eddie Waits being interviewed. Their names were spelled the same way, so he wondered if they might be related. Randy's daughter looked him up and realized the two of them are half-brothers. They had the same dad, but never knew about each other. Eddie had never even seen a picture of their dad until now. He and Randy just got to meet up in person for the first time on Saturday and gave each other a big hug.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
I've been watching a ton of the Olympics, and I'm thinking, man, if they only had an Olympic event for ranting, gold medal in Prospector's pocket. What do you do in your daily life that could be turned into an Olympic event? That's what I want to know. Heather on Facebook.com/Angry Prospector says napping. Ryan says speed showering. Like you get up late for work and you got to get that quick shower. How about you? On to the rock lines we go. Rock 107.
12-ounce curls with the Yingling.
That's the event you could do. You'd medal in that, right? Yeah. Who's this?
It's Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne. I think that's pretty good. Shelly Ann says dog curling. It's pulling my dog around my hardwood floors via chew toys. And Sean, also pet-related, picking up dog poop in the yard. We're talking about those events you do in your daily life that could be turned into Olympic events. Bruce on the rock lines, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, I have an Olympic event for you.
What do you got?
I have acoustic and or electric guitar.
Just guitars or what? What's the event?
Yes, just guitars. Acoustic and or electric.
Not playing them? Not building them?
No, playing them.
Oh, playing them. Okay, so that's something you do every day. You're good at that. Is that it?
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes you're good at it, but it could be an Olympic event. How about Dan says the dog, slalom, cat herding, and my wife wins the gold at jumping to conclusions and flying off the handle. And yesterday, I wrote a parody song, and I just put it on the air real quick, and I called it a Prospector poorly sung parody. I did it again. I'm like Britney Spears. Saw an article today in the newspaper that talked about the Scranton school busing and the bidding, and maybe it was their regular bidding, and it's going to cost $1 million more per year. So I wrote a parody song to The Who's Magic Bus called Scranton School Bus. It's another Prospector poorly sung parody. Yes, I know it's bad. On Rock 107. Every day you get them to school bus, Scranton school bus. Put them on the bus that takes them to school. School bus, Scranton school bus. Bad bidding, so some are suing now. School bus, Scranton school bus. Might be cheaper to pay by the mile. School bus, Scranton school bus. Thank you, driving for cashing the check. School bus, Scranton school bus. Citizens pay $1 million more per year. School bus, Scranton school bus. I don't want to cause no fuss. School bus, Scranton school bus. But can I bid for your Scranton school bus? School bus, Scranton school bus. I'm sorry.
Yambag? A fool, an idiot, a blockhead, a dunce, or an ignoramus. You know, a dullard, simpleton, or a clot, nitwit, dipstick, pea-brain, mouth breather, or cretin.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Yambag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
Here are the nominees. Nominee number 1.
When someone breaks wind and you say they dropped a bomb in there, this isn't usually what that means. A 46-year-old guy in Vegas named Brian Gower got arrested last week after he threatened to blow up a casino and claimed there was a live grenade in his butt. He told security he was going to blow the place up. They had 15 minutes to evacuate the building, so they called the cops. It's not clear if they evacuated the place, but no one was in any real danger. While police were talking to Brian, he kept rambling about his ex-wife and about Joe Rogan for some reason. Then he told him he had, quote, a grenade in his backside and he wanted to pass gas. It turned out he didn't have any explosives on him or in him. He also got arrested for making some sort of bomb threat last year, so I guess this is his thing. He's facing charges for providing false information about a potential act of terrorism.
Nominee number 2.
All right, this guy had a more eventful weekend than the rest of us. 38-year-old Bradford Weitzel was at a bar in Port St. Lucie, Florida Friday and left after midnight but couldn't find his car. So he did the only logical thing, stole someone else's car to drive around and look for his car. The night was really just getting started, though. He ended up stopping the stolen car on a set of train tracks. He claimed it died on him, which seems unlikely. The car then ended up getting hit by a train while Bradford was running away, and the train flung the car into a side of a nearby house. Luckily, the people asleep inside were not injured. Bradford found a nearby fruit stand after that, vandalized that for some reason, and then tried to steal a forklift he found, but someone had called the cops by that point. When they showed up, Bradford tried to flag him down and act like he was in trouble, told them he needed help finding his car, but then he explained everything else he'd been up to that night, so they arrested him. He's facing a bunch of charges, including counts for grand theft auto and criminal mischief.
And the winner is
the guy who lost his car, stole a new one, let that one get hit by a train, and then flagged down a cop for help. Yes, he was arrested, and yes, he's the Yambag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yambag of the Week competition. Keep it here weekday mornings for nominees for Prospector's Yambag of the Day on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cut.